we got 4 mics coming in now. All right, we are back for the Mom Hour.
We are back with the Mom Hour. Angela Roth, Brenda Parmenter-Cooper. Excited to have you guys here. You guys listening this morning?
I was listening in, yes. I was too.
Yeah. How was the sound? That's been, oh man, I've been just nervous.
The sound was good.
Okay,
the sound was good. The video wasn't working.
The video wasn't working?
Like it worked for about 30 seconds and then I cut out, so I don't know why. But
My-
I couldn't get it to keep going.
My video was working.
Oh, is it?
Was
Okay,
it?
so it was
Yeah.
probably
Okay.
just my phone.
Oh, sorry. Just try and keep these as close to you as you can.
Right
It
in
just
here.
makes the sound clear. Well, there will be ads, so I don't know how they do that. If the ad
The-
comes on and then it catches up, or do you miss a portion?
You miss a portion. So the ad comes on, and some of the ads are like a minute.
Yeah.
And then it goes back live to what you guys are talking, so you miss what you're talking about. And then all of a sudden, an ad came on for like 10 seconds, and then it went back.
Yeah, some of them are shorter than others. Some of you can skip, some of them you can't, I think, too. But, oh, that sucks. I didn't realize we might have to look into actually paying for a...
When you record it, though, does it keep it all, or will it?
Oh,
have
no,
ads?
the recording will keep it all.
So the
it
edited
won't have
versions
the...
we post will be okay.
It says
Correct.
there's an option to skip, but it goes to a page, and you have to sign up for something.
Oh, so that might have to do with even, like,
Yeah.
on your guys' end, the people listening, if they're not...
Something
What,
to do
like-
with Ustream, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say you have to have a Ustream account maybe.
Yes.
And then you
Yeah.
don't have to miss
Right.
anything. Yeah,
Right.
okay, got it.
Weird. Oh, well. As long as it sounds good, as long as the sound's clear and all of that, that was our... Oh, we had some issues
Yeah, we had
last night.
some serious issues last night. We were
Sound
trying
was
to get
good
everything-
today.
Yeah, sound was good.
Good. We had to tape up some mics, and we're going to maybe have to look at upgrading a few things. We'll see. But it's been good so far.
So far, so
Flying
good.
by.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's already 11 o'clock.
I didn't think it would go by that quick either.
No.
Okay, well, what do you want to get into?
I'd like to touch back on what you guys were talking about earlier about the whole volunteering thing.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Because I think both Brenda and I have volunteered at some point in time. So I think that would be a great topic that we could maybe get into a little bit.
What experiences did you have? I know you did some girl guiding.
I started out girl guiding before Mike and Matt were born, and I was a girl guide leader for actually about 6 years. And then once Michael and Matt were older and joined Cubs, I was, Beavers first. I was a Beaver leader and a Cub leader.
I think, yeah, we grew it. I can almost remember the exact day. I didn't want to go to that anymore. We were sitting there talking and just decided not to go anymore.
Did I? I don't think I ever did
No.
beavers. I
No.
wish I had. I don't have the time. Not worth a damn.
What sort of things have you been?
What have I done? Lots, actually, between schools. I'm sure you did stuff with the PAC too,
Yeah.
right? So between schools,
Okay.
hockey, soccer, parks and recreation, the Arthritis Society, the UBC Health Mentors Program most recently. So those are the biggest things that I've done.
Okay, right
Yeah.
on. What sort of things did you get into with? Did you spend more time specifically with one player?
Well, I volunteered for many years with the Arthritis Society.
Okay.
I did a lot of mentorship programs for them. I did a lot of teaching for self-efficacy. So I taught how to better take care of yourself and your disease, and to just live a better life. So through nutrition, through physical activity, through learning how to manage your pain,
Okay.
those sorts of things. So I was trained by the Arthritis Society to do that. And then once I had done that for a couple years, I actually became the person that trained the other leaders to go out into their community and offer the programs.
That's pretty cool. That's I think we had a friend that Nick Smart had some arthritis problems for a while there when I was having back surgery.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was kind of hobbling around in the pool there with me when I was trying to get walking and moving again. But yeah, it's unfortunate. So it sounds like it's a good thing to get out and.
It was, and I say was because as with anything, with funding, the Arthritis Society made some major cutbacks, and the one program that I believe helped the most people, which was a 6-week program where you could build with those people every week, and you could see their progress, and you could see a different person from week 1 to week 6,
Okay.
and how they felt about themselves and the confidence they gained to go out into the world and to do even just the smallest thing that you wouldn't think would be an issue, like walk around a block.
Yeah, no, I.
So things like that program is no longer available, unfortunately, and just because of so many cutbacks, there's no longer an office in the Fraser Valley. There used to be one in Langley. So because of that, I have taken a huge step back, because I just can't be traveling to downtown Vancouver to volunteer. It's just too far.
That's that's even something we had touched on earlier with the Gateway of Hope, like them being the only program in Langley for a place for a homeless shelter, people to go through for. I just thought it was kind of incredible. I mean, I don't feel like you see a ton of tons and tons of people down on the streets through Aldergrove and Langley at any given time.
Pretty clean. And,
it's a lot of
there's
migration
the
towards
vibe.
Vancouver, Abbotsford, or whatever, but there still is a vast amount of people, right?
More and more in Langley.
Yeah, more and more in Langley.
It seems, yeah.
Across from the Catholic Church, there's a group of people in an abandoned building there on a regular basis. Like in the last 2 weeks, just because I've been going back and forth, I noticed that they're there almost every morning. They used to live around the Catholic Church, but something happened with the city of Langley and the Catholic Church that they moved them out, and they've basically moved across the street.
Just move the mics close. I have to turn them down, so I guess Ashley just messaged me. It's echoing.
Oh, okay.
It's the first trial with 4 people.
Yeah, and I remember even before the couple times we had 4, it gets echoey, unfortunately. Oh well, only a couple people listening right now, so.
I just think like you guys had touched on earlier about that feeling you get when you see someone that you're helping or what you're doing, and they have that aha moment. For me, when I was teaching those classes, I could actually physically see someone go, oh my god, I can do this. And for me, that's why I did it.
It is definitely a good feeling. The first couple of people we met, even downtown, giving out backpacks. There was one guy that didn't seem like he was interested in what we were doing. But the other 3 that we met and talked to for a couple, they were super grateful.
But you're always going to have that, right? I've had people get up in class and just walk out and say, this is all bull. This isn't going to help me. I'm out of here. And to me, that just means they're not ready.
Can't make that do
No,
absolutely
absolutely not.
Fair enough.
Yeah, there's nothing better. That feeling. That's exactly why we're pushing this so much.
Yeah.
And that's Big Brothers. Do you volunteer at all when I was younger?
Yeah.
I was curious because I know I got into it. I volunteered infant center.
Yep.
I was like 6, 7.
You sure did.
They got too young. They allowed me to do it. Some of the kids were younger than me, and yet I was in charge of them.
Yeah.
It worked out very well.
But you put a game to start, right? To show what volunteering does. I did volunteer.
It's good to open your eyes to it, and I think even I mean, I don't know how to use the words, but it's just one of those things that I think a lot more people should try to associate themselves with. For like the differences it can make, especially in the place of hope for small time.
Yeah.
The small time you put in for business like that's low on funds and super resourceful volunteers.
Yeah.
Really help out some lives. So that's good. We should get into some mom stuff.
Do you volunteer with the hockey team with Kodiaks?
No, we're a village family this year.
Okay.
So we have a player that's from Oregon living at our house, right? And he is up here in Canada to play hockey just for this year. So I'm not part of the volunteer group at the Kodiaks, right? At the rep.
Okay. I just see you there a couple times. So
No, we just provide the home for Ivan to live in.
Ivan's the monster.
Ivan's a monster, yeah.
the ratings on this. I gotta figure out why we're echoing.
You're still going? Okay, well, Ryan and I were excited to have moms on. I think Ryan was a little more passionate about this, but I'll try to lead the way. There was, sometimes we see a lot online, and I think the most development from, again, everything we were talking about before just correlates to social media giving people a place to portray their lives and bitch about things and whatever. And we're just wondering, what kind of things do you think there are differences for moms nowadays versus, when we were young for you guys? And I think Ryan put it best. You see a lot more complaining about difficulties in lives when, I felt like when we were kids, we just kind of, moms did their mom thing and carried on. So how did you guys, any touch base on that?
Are you talking about Facebook?
Sure.
Well, in general, sorry.
No.
In general, I guess I feel like people in a lot of areas, but a lot like with moms is they're seeking validation for being a mom instead of just being a mom. Instead of I feel like with your guys' generation, it was you had kids because you wanted to have kids, you loved your kids, and you raised your kids because that was your job to do. And there wasn't like this idea that people needed to commend you for being a mom. It was just, it was known that your kids respected you and your kids appreciated what you did for them.
So you're saying nowadays young moms
Not
are
even-
looking
yeah.
for validation.
That's what it seems like to me. Yeah.
I agree 100%. Yes.
Yeah.
The young moms nowadays are looking for validation.
Not all of them.
Not all of
No.
them.
I
Not
won't
all
put
of
them all in the same bucket, but a
Quite
lot.
a few of them. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Things are different for them because they're working and they want to have everything for their children, and it's hard with two people working and huge big daycare costs, and they want to have their kids in ballet, they want to have their kids in sports, they want their 3-year-olds to have iPads, and things weren't like that when you were young, right?
They definitely weren't. I mean, we did what we could. There was, there was some hard times there for sure, but definitely a difference you see, and I think the things kids have these days, I don't think I had a lot of that stuff till I was 14, 15 years old.
Well, some of it wasn't invented yet.
True.
Yeah, some of it wasn't invented
True, but there
yet.
definitely were a lot of things, that other people would have that.
Sorry, I just came back in. I just wanted to what you were saying. I think it's also, I just thought of this. It could also be simply that they have these moms have a voice. There could have been those moms. I don't know, and that's I guess where I was going with that. Do you remember like as you were raising your kids, the other moms around you having that kind of a mentality?
Well, yeah, I think it was called the stitchin' bitch.
Okay, sorry, explain this terminology. I haven't heard that before.
Or it was just getting together with friends and having a coffee hour,
Yeah.
and your kids would be there playing, and you would just maybe you would complain, maybe you would whine, maybe you would take ideas. But I think because of social media, that has just been spread out so that everybody can hear what you're saying instead of your just very close group of friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would have feedback. You might say, okay, well, my baby's got diaper rash, and I don't know what to do. And your friend would say, well, this is what I tried, and it worked. Well, now it's on social media, and everybody knows your poor baby's got a bum rash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's true.
I completely, I can't handle that. I've actually unfollowed people on my Facebook because
Ditto.
I don't understand why those kinds of things people need to see. Like, I don't get why you need to I guess I look at it from the baby's point of view. When that kid grows up and now all of these pictures of him as a toddler or a 4, 5, 6 whatever year old with doing embarrassing things are online, that's gonna I don't know, I just feel like that's the
People doing a lot more things with their kids just for humor too and posting it, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
It's kind of
It's not why we had kids.
definitely not.
Personally.
Definitely not.
I don't know what type of a mom I would be if I was a new mom now. I don't know if I would fall into that trap. I can't say. I may, because that's just the generation right now.
Yeah.
So,
fair enough.
It's crazy the different changes, right? I
but
mean,
there
when-
are a lot of moms out there that don't do that.
Mhm.
Absolutely. You see them post the odd thing, and yeah, good for them, I say.
keep to their own business.
Mm-hmm.
There's just too much information. It's just way too much information.
So, I think another thing we're curious about, did you guys see any characteristics in yourselves that you would have seen in your parents, our grandparents, that you also see in us? Just things that would have been passed through generations?
100%.
Oh, okay.
100%.
Yeah, and I think you guys don't realize that. I know I had a discussion with Michael about that, how my mom was to do with music, right? Because he played in the jazz band through high school, and he was musical, and Matt as well too. In elementary school, played the trumpet, and then went into drama, but has always enjoyed music. And I don't think that they even realized that when I was a child in elementary school that I played the flute and learned how to play the piano, and that my mom was a piano player, and that there's musicality in your genes, and that's where that comes from, and even athletics as well too. My mom was a figure skater, right? And I always was active in sports and stuff. And sometimes our kids don't realize. I mean, they might know I played baseball, but they wouldn't know that.
When you came home with the occasional
Broken leg.
head-sized bruise and broken leg, yeah, that was my subtle reminder that you were a baseball pitcher.
Yeah.
What about for you there?
Well, I think for me, I noticed more just traits, like just certain personality aspects of Calvin and Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I notice them all the time now.
Right? It's crazy.
All the time. Between both of us, though. Like,
Yeah.
I went through phases personally where I'd be like, oh, I'm more like my dad. Or, oh, no, I think I'm more like my mom. And now I'm just like, I've got traits from both of them.
Absolutely. I think the whole volunteering and want to save the world comes from me. That's where Ryan gets that.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I wish I could just save the whole world. Don't have enough time. With Brett, I see more of the Italian personality, like the big, loud,
yeah.
the love for
Brett, loud
food, especially. Like, he's so much like my dad. It's scary sometimes. He'll do something, and I'm like, oh my God, there is my dad. And I mean, my dad's been gone for 11 years, so it's. I mean, Brett. They were close. We were all close, but I do see
Brett
more
and
of my
were
dad.
a lot closer than. I was close to them, but Brett and him were a lot more.
But I see that from my mom, because my mom was like that. She wanted to make everything right, and even maybe if she didn't volunteer, she worked in the hospital a lot, and she would always get lost in the old age sort of wing, because she loved to listen to them and just make them feel special on her lunch hour and stuff. So I think that sort of transfers and
That's
works
good.
its way through to everybody.
Good
Absolutely.
qualities to pass on.
Yeah,
through.
absolutely.
Are there, so between, like we were saying, with things for the young moms, do you guys think that it's harder now to be a mom with everything that you can do being speculated upon or under spotlight? Like, you said before, like, you'd get together with your small group of women, where today, if you make a mistake or potentially screwed something up with your child, it's thousands and thousands of people could be
But that's their choice.
seeing that. Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Exactly.
We all have to be accountable for our choices. And if you put it out there, you're accountable for the backlash.
I would take that in a different direction as far as, do you feel like it's harder because there's a lot more criticism or a lot more input as to what you're allowed to do with your kid, how your kid's allowed to behave, how your kid's allowed to enjoy his time? I mean, so for example, kids simply walking home from school by themselves.
Oh my goodness. You should go past short read at the end of the day when school is out. Oh my God. Mike, when I was young, we walked home from school.
We walked
Yes,
home.
we lived across the street from the school. I always lived across from my elementary school, so a big field, and you walked home. Mike and Matt walked home from school.
We used to walk home with
Now-
these guys down
Yeah.
those paths, right?
Every day when I come home, I'm coming that back way by short read. Like, it's to the extreme. There is so many cars and parents there waiting for their kids. It's unbelievable.
So do you think that's because they're lazy, or is that because they're fearful?
I think it's because I don't think it's because they're lazy. Well, lazy in the way that we've started driving our kids to school from the time they're in kindergarten and grade 1, and they don't know any different. They don't even know that they could probably walk to school.
Take their bike
But they've
or
also
whatever.
changed the catchments around in Aldergrove. So down on 24A where I live, the kids are in the short read catchment, and for a 5 or a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, maybe even up to 10, that is a long ways to walk
Going
over
up
to
272nd as
short
well,
read.
right?
You have to go up 272nd. Yes, one side has sidewalks, but not very good ones the whole way.
Yeah, there's just
right?
that one
That's
lighted
true.
crosswalk.
Right?
Yeah.
So maybe I can understand that. But what I'm wondering about is all those cars and all those parents.
Who has time to be
aren't they
doing
work?
that?
Aren't those parents working? Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of times you would have picked us up if you were home, but
Yeah, I guess
you
I
guys
was
were
working.
Working.
I look at it from the fear point, I guess. I would look at it as
That
like
they're scared
they're
for the
scared
kids
for the
to-
because, and the reason why we're starting this is because all you see in media is that there's someone out there who's going to hurt your kids. right?
I agree.
When in reality, yeah, it could happen. I'm not saying it's not possible. But
It's
the
true.
likelihood is so low.
Yeah. So
But
much.
we're made to believe it's up here.
Yeah.
It's so much higher. And that's kind of the way I look at it, I guess. I
What
don't
does
know.
what do elementary? Betty Gilbert's a middle school now.
Yeah, Biddy Gilbert's middle
Yeah.
school.
So all those elementary schools just go to
Exactly.
6th grade then.
Yeah.
So that's why they have the walkways. The walkways from our subdivision go all the way like
Yeah.
4 or 5 blocks up through, so those kids can all walk through there.
The paths and down.
Yeah,
to
so they don't
27.
have to like walk out on 272nd. They can go on those walkways through to the middle school, right?
I don't necessarily think it's harder. I just think that because of our society right now and everybody wanting to have everything that they think they should have, whereas, I mean, you don't deserve anything, you earn it, right? That people are wanting to have the 2 incomes. They're wanting to make lots of money. They're wanting to give their kids everything that they think they didn't have. Like you said,
They
the
deserve,
iPads
yeah.
at 3.
What's
yada,
what's
yada,
enough
yada.
on that though
Exactly.
for life lessons? I mean, if you get the people that are all of a
You know-
sudden 19 years old and they've been given
Exactly.
literally everything. I mean, I bought my cars growing up.
Yeah.
I got jobs. We worked hard. When I didn't have the luxury of playing hockey until I was 16 or 17. Right? I had to work and save money for that. That was just things that we had to go through and
See,
do.
and I don't think that's a bad thing. I totally disagree with every child deserves to, do this or deserves to do that. Well, we all deserve certain things in life, but we all have to earn them. And I don't think that your life is over if you didn't get to play hockey for 4 years because your parents couldn't afford it.
It definitely wasn't.
I think
mean,
it's just a life lesson, right? That you have to earn what you want in this world. And if you were meant to be an NHL hockey player, you'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason you were in Cubs and Scouts.
Exactly.
And Michael was in
Playing band.
jazz band, and while you were in baseball,
Baseball,
is
yeah.
because I was the leader
Yeah.
and I was the coach. So then your kids are allowed to play, and I think the kids don't realize that, right?
Yeah.
That when the parents are stepping in and
Yeah.
volunteering, that helps towards fees and things towards them playing, whereas the kids don't see it like that, right?
And I think a lot of the problem too is, like we were talking about with social media, is like we were touching on before, is you see everybody in their best situations. You think everybody has all of these things, so you want. Whereas when we didn't have money growing up. I remember multiple times like going to the store and like, Mom, this is all I have if you want to get some chips or some candy to watch a movie or whatever tonight. Like, we struggled when we lived in Chilliwack. We had enough to get
Well,
by.
I chose not to work when we
And
moved
she
to
didn't
Chilliwack
work.
because
Well,
I gave
which-
up a really good job because your dad and I decided we both couldn't work in Surrey.
Yeah.
Right? Because I was working for Parks and Rec in New West and he was working in Surrey. We weren't going to live in Chilliwack, which was the only place we could
drive.
afford a house and have
Drive all
both
that
parents
way.
that far
Yeah.
from our kids. So
Yeah.
we made that choice.
Yeah. But I know.
But you didn't suffer for it.
No, and that's it. I don't look back at that time. I didn't know any better. I had friends around. We played outside. We made our own fun.
We definitely did. I don't
We didn't
see-
need
like,
a
it's even
console to have
our
fun.
age, on the cul-de-sac right by our house there, we played hockey every day.
Yeah.
Every day, banging on
You barely
doors.
see it anymore.
I can't remember the last time I saw some kids playing street hockey.
And that's where I would attribute, like what we were talking about, to the laziness side of it. Is like I don't know what that's about. Why kids aren't outside more playing hockey? It's weird.
It is.
That Parkside hockey thing was always full. There was always kids playing there, and you never see anybody there anymore.
But now they're sitting at home with their devices,
Yeah.
right? They've got iPads. Seriously, when they're 3 and 4 years old, people buy iPads for their cats and their dogs,
That's so
Insane.
weird.
It's
right?
insane.
Really?
And yes, they do, because you can put the iPad. You can put the iPad on the floor, and you can have the fish floating around on the iPad, and the cat can play with the fish.
Oh my god!
Like, and anyways, the kids have devices. Kids are young and they have cell phones, right? And they have other devices in video games and Xboxes and everything. And instead of making an hour or two a night, they're left lots of times watching TV for 2 or 3 hours, and then there are devices for 2 or 3 hours.
Sometimes I
That's the
think
whole
like
night.
a lot of the thing when we were young, like we would reach out outside to kind of like develop our sense of extending friendship, and now with all the social media,
Yeah.
people, all I
Well,
saw that
it's-
person
it's
once at the
true.
bar,
Yeah.
friend them. Well, is that your way of reaching out now compared to?
Well, and I feel like
15 of us getting together?
that younger parents are missing out on a lot. Like I feel like I walked by the park with my dogs, and I seen all these mums with their kids playing, and every single mom, I swear, was on their phone
Yeah.
or on their device looking down.
Yeah.
That's
And you
so
can
sad
you
to
can
me.
hear the kids, "Mom, look at me, look at me." Well, that's part of being a parent.
Yeah.
Like you're missing so much. It's sad.
And that's going to affect that kid growing up.
They're not
gonna
getting the
become
attention they need.
They're going to become an attention whore.
Yep.
When they get
Yeah,
older.
but it's the parents as well too.
Yeah,
The kids are
definitely.
watching what the parents are doing. Last weekend when we went to the hockey game, we went for something to eat, and I was all excited to go to the Shark Club, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just because I was at the Sandman close to the game, and for me, I was older than the parents that were sitting there, obviously another generation. But I mean, I was just so excited to be able, because we don't go out that much to eat, so it was just fun and cool to be in this place, and it was all TVs and funky and everything. And there was two young couples sitting next to us. They would be old enough to have kids, and the two guys were sitting there. All four of them had their cell phones, and they were barely talking or having any conversation at all. All four of them had their cell phones. The women especially were on their cell phones the whole time. So I'm not sure what the point was of being there. Of course, Gary was sitting there reading his book reader the whole time. So I was sitting there just enjoying everything, and then another lady sat down, and her and I were chatting, but everybody else was on their cell phones, and Gary was reading his book reader while we were there.
See, but you struck up a conversation with another person, and I miss that. Like I miss going to a coffee shop, even if I just go to a coffee shop by myself.
And
I
you don't
bring
know
my book
anybody.
and I'm waiting for an appointment if I have something in Vancouver, and I'm going a little early. And I can strike up a conversation with the person next to me. Even if I never see that person again, I loved doing that. But now you can't do that because everybody's looking down.
Oh,
People, I
we've
know,
covered
think
that too,
you're
or
weird
people
if
think you're weird
they
for
think
doing
you're
it.
weird for talking to them.
Try to say hi or compliment
Although
someone.
when we did that video, most people were pretty. I mean, obviously we were like, "Hey, we're doing something right away," but most people were pretty, responsive.
They were
Yeah.
hesitant about talking to you, or they wanted to
They
talk.
were.
Some people do, and if they
There
didn't
were a
want
couple
to,
that
they
did,
said no right away, and it was fine. But there was that Steven Crowder video where they were saying about people not wanting, or that girl was posted walking in New York with a video camera or microphone, and just lots of people saying hi to her, and they're making a big deal about what an issue it was that a girl can't be left alone. So this Steven Crowder went and had a hidden camera, and he went to a store and struck up a conversation. He was like, "Oh, like you have really pretty eyes," and the girl's like, "Oh, thank you."
Okay, so are you
you know.
talking about that video that the girl walked through downtown New
catcalling
York?
video.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hello, but if I'm walking downtown Vancouver and people are saying that to me, I'm like, thank you. Woohoo! I look good today.
I mean, I can understand where some people can go overboard, but I mean,
In general,
on
they-
basic compliments,
Exactly.
when did people start taking offense to that more than
Yeah.
can't-
if you letting it affect your
I'm
confidence?
sorry,
and feeling
people are
good?
just getting way too sensitive.
No,
Wow.
you can't give offense. You can only take it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's your choice to be offended by something.
Exactly.
And yeah, if someone blatantly attacks you personally on
Walk
something,
away.
you can either you can be offended by it, but this idea that every time we're offended by something, we need to post it. We need to make I don't understand it.
No, me either.
Is your friend here?
It's Amy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's got the kids with her.
Okay, so
Oh, sweet. Good
what's
thing we
that?
brought cupcakes.
yeah.
No kidding.
They're no. They got to sit out there quietly. We don't want
for a
them on
whole
a sugar
hour?
high.
I'll stay with them.
There you
Okay.
go.
Perfect.
Yeah, anyways, that's just my 2 cents worth.
It all kind of ties. Yeah.
There's so much. It's kind of funny. I feel like the more we talk and like issues we cover, a lot of it's tying into the same problem. Is people take offense to something too much that they need to make a way bigger deal about it, or
Well, people want to show that they're for whatever the new cause is. People want to make sure that they are seen as someone who is, I'm for that. I'm on that side.
I guess.
You know.
But at the end of the day, and I think this is something that that I personally have always said to both of you, we're all entitled to our own opinions.
Yep.
Absolutely,
You've said that to me multiple times.
100%, right? But that doesn't
ex-
mean that my opinion has to agree with yours.
Exactly.
We
yeah.
can disagree. I mean, we've disagreed since you were
A lot of people.
however
feel,
old,
A lot of
and,
people
you
feel
know,
like you can't disagree anymore, though.
It's true.
A problem.
It's true. I mean, when
you're
he was
disagreeing-
younger, it was like, well, that's your opinion, Ryan, and you're entitled to it, but this is my opinion, and I'm still the mom, so I win.
deal with it, yeah.
I don't win anymore, but we still have some pretty good conversations, right? But that's something that I've always instilled is everybody's entitled.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, you
It
don't
doesn't
have to
mean we all
agree.
have to agree, and if we did, it would be damn boring.
Yeah.
And the
That's
only
true.
difference when as the moms had the opinions when you were growing up is Angela's right. We're the parents.
And you had the experience.
So it doesn't mean that that you don't have a good opinion. It just means that as parents, we're supposed to be guiding you through
Exactly.
life until you're old enough to make decisions on your own, right?
When did you guys feel like we were no longer children? That you would
Are
realize.
you there yet?
I
No.
knew it. I called it.
I knew it.
I
Yeah.
called it.
No.
I knew that's what you would say.
Yeah, I think about that all the time because it's not that we're helping you, whether you're living with us, or it's not that we're trying to keep track of everything that you're doing, but we still feel that
Yeah.
you're our kids. I said kids to Michael the other day, and he's almost going to be 32, and he said, Mom. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's right. I didn't mean to say kids, but you just say that because
they are.
because you are our
Yeah.
children, right?
Well, you know, my mom said to me many, many, many years ago when my kids were little, I said something, I can't remember what it was, but she said, you know what, they're always going to be your children, you're always
Yeah.
going to worry. And I said, no. She says, yeah, you will. She says, little kids, little problems. Big kids,
Bigger
big
problems.
problems.
Right.
Wow.
Fair enough.
I like that.
And that was
It's
my
just
mom,
the
right?
truth,
There
though,
might
yeah.
be less problems, but the problems that you have as adults are usually bigger than you had when you were 3.
And lots of
Definitely.
problems when you have as adults.
Mm-hmm.
You're still coming to us
Of course.
and needing our help
Yeah.
because
Of course.
there isn't anybody else.
Right.
Right.
So it's not that we don't think you're children anymore. You'll always be our children.
Yeah.
It's just that you've become young adults now.
Yeah.
And
And
very
it doesn't matter
nice
whether you're
young
in
adults.
relationships or you're not in relationships because lots of times you're in and out of those
Mm-hmm.
relationships, right? And then when you're out of them, you probably need us just for a little while until you get on with another one, right?
Yeah.
But
Whoa. What are you doing?
I was trying to open the window.
Oh. Just, yeah.
really?
It does. It
Because
gets
I'm
warm.
over here shivering.
yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
okay.
warm,
We're
too.
sweating.
It's okay. I'll be okay.
I can grab you a coat.
No, we'll
Are there
probably-
any things you guys would have done differently as a parent?
Yeah.
If you
Done
look-
differently?
look back on-
at ways you either, I wouldn't like. I don't.
think so because I don't think I can do that. Because I mean, you can never go back. Because everything that we did out of our hearts, and we did because we felt that we were doing what was right. Whether it was right or wrong at the time didn't really matter. We did at that time what we felt was the right decision.
Fair enough.
no, and I think I was always lucky. I always worked and I always had really good jobs that I could look after myself even when I was a single parent for about 4 years. And I could always do almost everything that I wanted to do.
We were
with Mike and
exceptional
Matt.
children, though.
I mean, it was pretty
Yeah.
easy to raise us.
Yeah. The best experience
Actually, it
best
was.
experience was when I broke my leg as an adult and the boys were really young. And it was a serious break where I had to put my foot up and I wasn't allowed to move.
Yeah.
And it was kind at first when they sent me home from the hospital, it was like, okay, so I'm propped up on the Chesterfield, but now who's going to cook and who's going to bath them and who's going to do the laundry and all of that kind of stuff. And after a couple of days, we realized that we really couldn't do it. So my mom come and stayed with us for a few days, but then she got tired of that as well too. So she left, and then we were on our own, right? And we just
We made do.
yelled at them across the room how to make craft dinner and when to go to bed, and they had to help me get to the toilet and stuff. And there's nothing that you can do, right? You just have to do what you can do.
Step it up.
Step
Yeah.
it up, right?
Exactly. When I look at, well, especially now with social media, because you see everything, but even if I look at other things, I think that you were easy to raise. I don't feel like, even there were rough patches, I don't feel like there was a lot of grief. I don't feel like...
What, kind of on the same topic, did you have a hard time, though, deciding how much to give or how much to be there, when to back off, when to allow us to figure things out for ourselves?
Absolutely.
Like that to me is probably, I would assume, one of the hardest things as a parent, because if you're what they call like a helicopter parent, and you're literally showing them everything to do, taking care of everything for them, that's where you get basically adults who are still children. And I'm just wondering how you handled that.
Well, I was working, and so sometimes they were with babysitters until they were old enough, or neighbors old enough to look after themselves.
And the hockey team.
Yeah, and the hockey team. Matt had the hockey team to look after him. But when they got older, they still had lots of spare time to figure out things and do things for themselves, because I wasn't always there, because I was working. It's different than a mom that's home all the time and can more micromanage everything that her family and her children are doing, right? And that's not always a bad thing, right?
No.
But sometimes the boys had to figure out things themselves just because I wasn't there, right?
Absolutely.
And they made fairly good decisions, I think.
I'm a troubleshooter.
Well, and I think there's just certain lessons that you can't teach.
Exactly.
Right? Certain things where you have to just step back and say, okay, they need to figure this out from themselves. And it's hard to watch because you just want to fix it all.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure that they don't make the mistakes that you made, but then you realize if you hadn't made those mistakes, you wouldn't be where you are today.
Exactly. And when you were teenagers, I tried always to think back to when I was a teenager, and I knew what I did wrong all the time and what I got into trouble for, and what drove me crazy with my parents is that my dad always wanted to, it was my dad, it wasn't my mom, always wanted to manage my time, and I had to be home by curfew, and I had to do all these things, and I broke curfew every chance that I could, and then he would extend it, I would break it.
What was like that for me, right?
I know.
Now you wish you just let me extend my
Yeah.
curfew a little bit more.
But I felt like when Mike and Matt were teenagers that I didn't really have harsh curfews. Like, I thought they were pretty good.
We
They
also
had-
didn't drink or go to parties.
And they had
That
cell
was,
Oh, really?
I didn't drink till I was 20 years old.
when he
Wow.
was a teenager.
Ryan can't say that.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't, but even still, with my friends, I started late.
Yeah.
I
When Matt
just-
was a teenager, that's right. There
Yeah.
wasn't a lot of problems like that. So they had cell phones because they were both working, and I wasn't home a lot. So they had cell phones when they were 15 and 16 years old that they paid for themselves. There wasn't anything to do with me. And they had their own cars that they paid for themselves from working. And they could come and go and do as they want. And if they weren't home by midnight, then I would phone him on his cell, and I expected him to answer. And he would tell me where he was, and so on and so on, right?
When you got those feelings where you were, when it was, like you said, hard to watch, what kind of tactics or tricks did you use to keep yourself out of the situation? What kind of things did you say to yourself? How did you make sure that you didn't get involved? Was it...
You mean, how do I make sure that Dad just steps back?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I just have to say, these are lessons that we cannot teach.
Yeah.
We cannot teach this. We have to sit back and we have to wait. And if they come to us and ask for advice, I will willingly give it.
Yeah.
But if it's not asked, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. And for me, that's really super hard.
We're getting feedback.
I guess. It's just the speaker.
Is it off?
I'm just going to turn it off. Power off. There we go. Good enough. It's probably just coming from this thing.
So that's basically it.
Okay.
It still happens, right? You see something and you think, oh, if I could just fix that. But I can't fix it, so I'll just wait. And if they ask me for advice, I'll give it. Like the house with Brett.
Yeah.
Didn't say anything
Yeah.
until he said, hey, what do you think? And I'm like, run the other way.
What happened?
Oh, they looked at a house that they were excited about.
And the inspection wasn't
And
good.
As soon as I walked in to do an electrical inspection, I was like, no. Like, I didn't say anything. I just gave my opinion on things when he
Right,
asked
'cause-
about them. But, first house buyer.
He's excited.
You're excited.
Yeah.
I was that way. You almost, and with a lot of things when you're doing it you jump into it without really, taking a step back.
But now you're not talking about teenage years
No.
anymore.
No, you're
now
talking
you're talking
older.
about in the
Yeah.
20s.
Yeah.
Because that's when all hell broke loose. Yeah.
Exactly.
Because that's when they're adults
Yeah.
and they thought they could do whatever they wanted and they didn't ask for advice. They just made really bad
Decisions.
life choices and
And
stuff
that's-
like that. Yeah.
And we can't
how
do
we
that
learn.
for them, right? They
Nope.
have to learn.
nope.
It's hard.
But you know what? They always come to us when they need help.
Eventually.
So
And-
that's where as a parent I feel like I must have done something right, that when something does go bad, Gary and I always said, they're going to come home or
Just
they're
a
going
matter
to
of
come
time.
and ask for help. So it's just a matter of time, right?
Do you feel like you guys learned from your parents how to, like you were saying, when they come to you, the kids, because they're still coming to you, you obviously did something right. And what I look at that is when the problems happened and when they came to you, you didn't freak out. You didn't, make them feel like they were terrible for what they did. Do you feel like you learned that from your parents? Do you feel like or it was something that you just innately had within you to, take the situation on without making the kids or the teenagers or whoever feel like they were idiots or like...
I definitely didn't learn that from my parents.
No, me either.
No, me neither. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, and my dad was a disciplinarian, and he was pretty harsh. I was the oldest, so he was pretty harsh with me, but I didn't learn that kind of thing from my parents at all. No, I would say I had to learn that on my own, but I took experience that I had with my parents. There was some things that they were maybe so tough about, or I wish that they did more, so that I changed those things because I learned those things from my